afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Oracle ERP mobile applications. I'm Mary O'Sullivan, a consultant in version 1's ERP practice. User experience has been a major driver for Oracle in applications design in recent years. The applications must be streamlined, be easy to access, easy to use, and enable users to complete their work efficiently. Among the user experience themes they see as important are simplicity and mobility. In terms of simplicity, users want to see essential information in digestible chunks without wading through hierarchies of navigation. Their attention needs to be drawn to what they need to know now without excessive detail, but obviously with facilities to drill down to that detail quickly if necessary. With mobility, the applications must have optimized user interfaces that support users' work wherever they are and whatever device they're using. So the mobile applications were released. Looking at the agenda for our review of them today, we'll first of all look at the list of mobile applications currently available for the e-business suite and also for Cloud ERP, formerly known as Fusion, obviously. Then at Oracle's release strategy and at the roadmap for the mobile app, you can see how that has developed and is developing. We look at what's involved in implementation and deployment. Next, we'll cover connectivity and security. And finally, we'll have an overview of some specific mobile apps and the functionality they provide. So we have quite a bit to cover in the 30 minutes, and we won't have time for Q&A, unfortunately, but I'll give you an email address at the end should you have any queries. Looking at the apps that are available, as you can see on the left of this slide, there are 22 applications currently available for smartphone and tablets. They're available for EBS release 12.1.3 and higher on iOS and Android platforms. Expenses and self-service procurement are also available for Cloud ERP. They provide actionable on-the-go access for widely used horizontal functions applicable to all employees, as well as for role-based line of business apps for specific functional areas. And there are no additional license costs involved when the associated base product is implemented. On a technical point, all of the applications have been built on Oracle's mobile application framework, with the exception of the 4 highlighted in red here. The effect of the 4 not being built on mobile application framework is that they have different release cycles to the other 18. The objective of Oracle's release strategy is to release new applications as well as updates in the form of server-side and client patches for existing apps via consolidated releases on a regular basis. So new releases for the 18 built on mobile applications framework are released together, while the 4 others have their own release cycles. And looking at the progress of the roadmap to date, they have done that. This is the roadmap for the 18 applications. So you can see in June 2014, the first 2 apps, approvals and time cards were released, but for iOS only. 4 months later, 10 new apps were released with updates to the original 2. March 2015 saw the introduction of Android support with mobile release 3. In October 2015, we had enhancements around security and deployment, as well as the first of the HR-related apps. In December 2015, the mobile applications framework was made available for custom app development, which was a significant milestone. March 2016 saw added mobile applications manager functionality within the core application itself. And the 2017 releases, so we're now on release 7, and they again involved enhancement to custom development support, mobile applications framework and to existing applications functionality. Looking at the release history for one of the non-mobile applications framework applications, that's expenses, the latest release is 5.4, which was released in May 2017. As you can see, it has consistently been updated too. This slide is not as granular in terms of time as the previous one, but the degree of progress is consistent with the mobile applications framework apps, and there are about 2 releases each year. Moving on to implementation and deployment. As you can see, the database and application configuration tasks required are on the left of this slide, and the end user tasks are on the right. On the database side, server-side patches are required for each mobile app. Then the functional configuration is completed, which is not a very extensive task at all. The mobile app really just needs to be enabled, and there are a number of additional steps. The mobile apps use role-based access control to protect data from unauthorized access. Most mobile apps have app-specific access roles. So to provide the mobile app access capability to an existing eBusiness Suite user, you must assign each access role to the responsibilities that you want to associate with the corresponding mobile app, and then just assign those responsibilities to the users. There are a few additional things. Expenses, for instance, requires the template to be used to be enabled for mobile applications, but that's, again, just a tick box. Then it's just a matter of communicating instructions to the end users, who, as we see on the right of the slide, have simply to download the latest version of the app from either the Apple Store or Google Play, depending on whether they have an iOS or Android device, or from an internal enterprise site if the organization has chosen that as the preferred delivery method. And I'll expand on deployment options in the next slide. But the user then just logs in via the app to connect. For first-time use, they have to agree to terms and conditions, enter the URL for the instance they're accessing, and then select the appropriate responsibility. Thereafter, they just have to enter their username and password. Expanding on the deployment options, the apps are available to download, as I've said, from the Apple App Store and from Google Play. There are 2 deployment options. Organizations can simply let users download to their mobile devices directly, or alternatively from a company's internal location. There are 2 things to bear in mind on this. Each mobile application version is developed on a specific mobile application framework release, which in turn requires specific server-side patches to be applied. The latest client version of the app is designed to work with only one previous version of the server-side patches, so there could be problems if users keep downloading the latest versions, because they will be prompted to when they are released, and the relevant patches haven't been applied. The enterprise distribution option, where users download from an internal location, allows organizations to control the version of the app installed by the users sync with their patch levels. It also allows minor customizations such as branding, so the Oracle logos on the device can be replaced by the organization's own logos. There's also some useful functionality contained within the Business Suite itself in the Mobile Applications Manager module that allows mobile apps administrators to track client installations by user, operating system, and device model. With metrics such as daily usage and so on, an organization can get a good idea of how widely a mobile app is being used, and how up-to-date the client versions are. It is possible for organizations to customize existing mobile applications or to develop their own from the ground up. Mobile application archives enable client-side customizations by allowing an organization to copy an existing out-of-the-box mobile app, tweak it using Mobile Applications Framework, and then distribute it as their own custom app. In terms of creating new apps, Oracle's Mobile Application Framework can also be used to create apps from scratch. And just as the standard apps do, custom apps can also utilize Oracle's EBS Mobile REST services as a communication method for transferring and synchronizing data between a device and the EBS instance. Which brings us on to the next topic, connectivity and security. We have three connectivity options to access the mobile apps. Firstly, over the internet through a DMZ configuration. So to access the Oracle E-Business Suite mobile apps over the internet, the Oracle E-Business Suite environment must be set up in a DMZ configuration. Secondly, over the intranet through VPN. So if your Oracle E-Business Suite environment is not set up in a DMZ configuration, users must access the Oracle E-Business Suite mobile apps through an intranet connection, such as a virtual private network. The third and newest option, third-party enterprise mobility management, or EMM, was made available in 2017. So Oracle E-Business Suite mobile apps developed using the Mobile Application Framework can integrate with third-party EMM solutions that support common app config standards, such as VMware AirWatch, and such EMM solutions can be configured to connect via an app tunnel for per-app VPN. This brings us to the final section of the webinar, which is a brief look at some specific applications currently available. Let's first of all look at the horizontal apps, that is those that are not role-specific. Firstly, we have mobile approvals. Mobile approvals provides one application for handling a wide range of approval types, originating from a variety of modules, so the approver can deal with everything in one place. Approvers are presented with a summary of approvals grouped by approval type on their device. From there, they can navigate into a list of pending approvals for a given type, select a specific item, and perform the appropriate action, whether that be to approve, reject, or to request further information. So here, for instance, we can see the approval process for a purchase requisition. And here, the approval processes for absences, time cards, and employee assignment change. Among the latest Release 7 enhancement to mobile approvals, we now have the facility to enable notifications from custom approvals to be sent and actioned. The custom approvals can just be set up to appear as approval types, and approvers can progress from there as they would with the standard apps. Also, notifications can now be reassigned to other approvers. And finally, for enterprise distribution, it's now possible to optionally enable push notifications. So the user gets a notification on the device information. Moving on to mobile expenses, or Fusion expenses, as it's actually called on the Apple Store and Google Play. It's also available, I should point out, for Cloud ERP as well as for EBS. It enables users to capture expense items, attach images, submit expense reports, and to view previously submitted reports from the mobile device. It's actually a very good example of how Oracle makes the most of the features of the device. So, for example, users can take a photo of a receipt using the device's camera and then attach it to the expense report. It also uses the device's GPS tracker to record distances traveled for mileage claims. So user simply just enters the start and the end location and it calculates the mileage. And it also supports voice recognition. So the device's mic can actually be used to create an expense report verbally. As I said previously, mobile expenses is built using native technology rather than the mobile application framework and has its own release cycle. So as I have said as well, it's now on release 5.4, and among the latest enhancements there are DFFs are now supported. Location is now rendered as a list, so users can query locations applicable to internet expenses. There's tax code selection. Users can search for employees and add them as attendees for expense items. There's now also duplicate detection, and there is enhanced support for single sign-on. Looking at mobile procurement, with it, employees can track requisitions on the go for approval and delivery status. They can view requisitions, approvers, lines and shipments. They can monitor alerts for approvals, rejections, returns and shipment delays. And they can collaborate in context using email or text. And they can also perform self-service receiving. Related to mobile procurement, mobile self-service procurement is available with the latest release. That's release 13 of Cloud ERP. And that actually enables the users to create requisitions using the mobile device in addition to the functionality provided by the eBusiness Suite application. Moving on to HR products. Mobile self-service HR offers a number of functions for employees and managers, which I'll run through quickly in the following slides. Employees can update and maintain contact information, including taking and uploading profile photos for collaboration purposes. They can create, view, and maintain absence information, like notification of sick leave or holiday requests. They can view current and historical pay slips at a summary or details level and save to PDF for forwarding or for printing. Managers can view various items of HR-related information for their team members, including work and employment history, and also absences. And looking at the latest enhancements to self-service HR in Release 7, employees can now add or update their primary address. Payslip and pay simulation is also available, but for US only. And managers can update team members, supervisors, and salaries. The mobile time cards app is very useful for users out in the field, for example, as it allows them to access the device's calendar where they may have booked appointments that, when completed, can be turned into items on their timesheet. It allows the user to fill out their timesheet quickly and easily as it happens, rather than having to try and remember how much time was spent where retrospectively. An enhancement in Release 7 to time cards is the ability to enter comments on the actual time cards. The mobile learning app allows employees to browse, review, and rate training courses offered by the organization. And we have Mobile Person Directory, which provides access to employee profiles, organizational charts, and so on. So moving on to the core line of business or role-based applications. Mobile Project Manager enables the user to view project-related information, including details such as project name, number, total revenue budgets and funding value, contact info for team members and customers, status of customer invoice and vendor payments, and details and status of project issues. We have mobile sales orders for reviewing sales order information and allowing the user to contact customers regarding the status of their orders, again using any one of the communication methods of the device. Mobile inventory provides the user with real-time information on stock levels, and barcode scanning is also supported through the device's camera. Mobile Discrete Production Supervisor delivers work order information so a supervisor can see work order statuses and act on any issues to take whatever steps are necessary to resolve them, including contacting key people in the process. Mobile Field Services supports field engineers by providing them with navigation using the device's inbuilt GPS system for the best route to a location. And the touchscreen feature can also be used to capture signatures for task completion. And finally, mobile maintenance again employs the device's GPS and map features to locate and track an organization's assets and associated work orders. And that concludes today's look at the mobile apps. As a wrap-up, there are some key points that I hope you'll take away with you. So there's a greater demand and expectation for companies to support the mobile workforce, allowing them to work on the move. Security is a prime concern, so decisions will need to be taken around how access will be restricted to the environment, as well as protecting the devices themselves. Oracle has invested heavily in developing its mobile applications offering for eBiz and Cloud ERP, and it doesn't look like that's going to slow down anytime soon now, with new apps and updates being released on a regular basis. Streamlined views of the information have been developed to cater for mobile devices due to the smaller space of the smartphone and tablet screens. So you can't really, I guess, expect the mobile apps to offer as much functionality as the core product. And lastly, there are no additional license costs associated with the mobile apps as long as there is an existing user license for the core product. That's all we have time for, but if you have any questions or wish to inquire further on anything that's been discussed, please don't hesitate to contact us at info@version1.com. Thank you for attending today.